Whitney White is a licensed cosmetologist and one of the original pioneers in the online natural hair care, black beauty, and lifestyle spaces. Her international brand, Natural85, is a respected source with over 2.5 million followers across multiple social media platforms. Building upon her success, Whitney, along with her sister Taffeta White, self-produced and self-funded the highly acclaimed and award-winning hair care line, Melanin Haircare, which has been featured in the likes of Essence, Forbes, Allure, Cosmopolitan, and InStyle magazines to date, not to mention TheTease.com. Melanin haircare products are sold at melaninhaircare.com, Sephora, Target, Space NK, Selfridges, and Ulta Beauty. All right, guys, I am so excited. I am joined by Whitney White of Melanin Haircare. Whitney, welcome to the Volume Up podcast. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling well. Thank you so much for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Well, I feel like the feeling is very, very mutual. We are thrilled. Let's get into it. If you wouldn't mind, tell us about the very beginning. How did you get to beauty? Did you always think you were going to be working with hair?
Yeah.
Were you always thinking of being an entrepreneur? I want to know everything.
No, I actually kind of fell into beauty. It's actually...
Okay, I love that.
I did not mean to be here, okay?
Okay.
I'm a graphic designer by trade. That's what my degree is in.
This immediately makes so much sense.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I've got so many. Okay. Wow. Okay.
It just fell together for you. Okay, great.
Sorry, keep going.
So I've always loved hair. It was kind of just like a hobby on the side, even since I was younger in high school. And when I was at work, I was just kind of, doing my thing as a graphic designer. And I needed something on the side because my creativity after I graduated school was a little bit different when you're in the workforce as a graphic designer.
Yeah.
So I would get home and I would be like, okay, let me play in my hair. Let me try some new things. And at the time I had just decided to stop chemically processing my hair, which would make it straight. And I was kind of learning how to do my hair in its natural state. And it wasn't as familiar as natural hair or hair that is not chemically processed is today. And there wasn't a lot of information online. Stylists weren't really teaching how to do it. And so this was probably around 2008. We were pretty much on our own with figuring out how to, do our hair on our own.
Yep.
So I would be at home and I was playing in my hair and just figuring things out and learning things on my own. And I just thought to myself, I wonder if what I'm learning could help other people. Mm-hmm. So just using my graphic design skills, I decided to, film some stuff and edit it together. And then I threw it up on YouTube and it really resonated with a lot of people. They were learning from my own hair care journey and it just grew from there.
Grew from there is an understatement.
Literally.
Got a huge audience. A huge audience, thanks to largely your vulnerability and your willingness to share exactly as you described.
Yeah.
You're one of the sort of natural hair vlogger pioneers. This wasn't a thing before you and a handful of others were doing this.
Yeah.
And obviously now it's a totally different world.
Completely.
So if you wouldn't mind, and we're going to get into that. I mean, the opportunities that have opened up as a result of your willingness to share this journey. But when you were getting started, what were those videos like? Do you look back at them fondly or do you get the cringe? What's the deal there?
It's a little bit of both, actually.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay, so in true millennial fashion, the cringe comes from just, the quirkiness. That's fine. That's how us millennials are, okay? Mm-hmm. But I also am very fond, looking back in the day, it was just everyone talks about authenticity today, but it was truly so authentic. Everyone was just on there to help each other, share ideas. It was very, it was like a small community and we're all of like-minded people. And again, it wasn't natural hair, it wasn't as popular as it was today. So in order to get that camaraderie, we had to go online to get it. Mm-hmm. And so, no one was monetized either. No one was making money. So it was really just pure out of the love of hair care and wanting each other to look and feel our best and just forming a community around understanding what it was that we were trying to do with our hair, just trying to love ourselves and love our hair in its natural state and learn how to do our hair when no one else was teaching us and supporting each other and just building each other up. And it was just so I look at it really fondly when I look at old videos because while many of them are probably really drawn out and long, especially in today's 30 and 60 second video. industry, it was who we were. You know what I mean? It was just super true and authentic and just pure. And so I love looking at old videos, even though I do get a little cringe on some things, just from the quirkiness of it all.
Well, but I mean, that was what it was.
It was.
And yes, and as you said, it's an evolution. We're not there anymore, but
right.
Yeah, it served its purpose.
Right.
So, I mean, you talked a lot about like this mission, this like drive to educate, to help people to feel better about themselves while you're going through the same process. So talk to me a little bit about like your relationship with beauty. This came to be largely, you said you decided to stop chemically straightening your hair. Where did that come from? And like, what were the things that you were sort of picking up skill wise over time that ultimately led you into a very different career, which is getting your cosmetology license?
Right, exactly.
But before we get to that, I mean, there was this space in between. I'd love to hear about that.
I was experimenting. So again, I was in art school to become a graphic designer, and I was just wanting to really express myself. And my hair was very straight and kind of stringy and boring. And I was also doing sports, and so it wasn't very convenient to be, sweating my straight hair out. And it was just easier for me to have curly hair. And so I would find myself getting my hair chemically straightened and then immediately go back to my home or to my dorm and like wash it all out. Ugh. Like I just wanted the curls there. I thought it looked cooler. It looked more artistic, and just, I was very much a boho, and it just felt like it was more me. And so at that time, I was just like, well, if I'm going to do all this, why don't I just grow my hair out? And originally, I actually had planned to do locks in my hair. I was going to get like dreadlocks. But when it was time to cut my hair, I grew it out and it was time to cut it. And I had to force my mom to cut my hair for me because she did not want me to do it. But I had a little afro and there's a few curls that popped up. And when I saw the curls, I was like, I wasn't expecting it because, again, a lot of people in my community, we just grew up being told that, our hair is not desirable. It doesn't look good. And so you have to cover it up. And like, it's just, I didn't know what to expect. I thought it was going to be something that maybe I didn't want to see, that maybe I would want to put into dreadlocks. And then I saw it and I was like, no, I like this hair. This is like kinky coily. This is cool. Like it was like a little spring, like a little yo-yo. And from that moment, I knew I just wanted to experiment and learn like what my hair could do. And it just kind of gave me like a little outlet and like an artistic, again, I've always loved playing in my hair. And so it was a little bit of arts and crafts. It was a little bit of like creativity, and editing the videos and putting them up was like a creative outlet. And so it really just served so many different purposes. And then at the same time, I was also trying to find out like who I was as a person, just trying to belong somewhere. And I think, just learning more about my own hair and becoming a part of this community where I was celebrated for expressing my individuality, it just really helped me come into myself as a young adult. And I really do credit the community with who I am today. Like, just, I don't think I would be as confident in myself. And we just went through a lot as far as unapologetically like loving our hair when so many people around us told us not to, and building each other up and really becoming a support system for each other where we would be okay to love ourselves as we were. And I think that has really helped me personally grow with a lot of confidence. And I credit the community a lot with who I am today.
Wow, that's so powerful and beautiful. And thank you so much for sharing. Obviously, the overarching dominant culture is garbage, and so many standards that we talk about on this podcast with folks that are made to make others feel certain ways about themselves. That is not how they feel about them. They shouldn't. And so it's so taken aback by this community that you cultivated, and that they sort of backed you up and helped you to grow into sort of where you're at.
Exactly.
And another community is a community that you're in addition, which is the hairstyling, hair dressing community.
Yes.
So talk to us a little bit about like what made you make the leap from sort of like, forgive the phrasing, amateur vlogging, because certainly like you professionalize that. Right. You own that space. But like from that into formal, training, cosmetology.
Yeah, it's something that I've always really wanted to do. Well, not, I won't say always wanted to, but from, I'd say like halfway through my hair journey, I've wanted to do it. I wanted to get my license. I wanted to become a professional. And it was really to prove to myself that I could do it. There's a couple of reasons, I guess personally, as a YouTuber or a content creator or an influencer, whatever you call us these days. Like you said, there's a, do they know what they're talking about or do they not? There's kind of like a back and forth kind of like at the end of the day, you're not licensed. So there's that.
Yep.
And so I really wanted to have my license to lean on, to be like, listen,
ooh, I love that.
I have taken the time to get my license. I have learned, and now I can say that like, you can trust what I'm saying. Like, this has worked for me. It will probably work for the majority of you. And if it doesn't, like, use it as inspiration. But I think the one thing, just going in and being a YouTuber for so long, or a content creator for so long, and, as far as the professional industry goes, either you love content creators or you don't. So I really wanted to prove to myself and to the industry that, like, no, I love hair and I respect what you're doing. And I hope that you respect what I'm doing as well. And if you don't, I'm going to also get my license, so that that's one thing that you cannot say that I don't have anymore. So that was like a personal thing. I needed to prove to myself and to the industry that I belonged here. But then also had been working on my hair product line, which I know we'll get into later, but I had been working on my hair product line for so long that I really wanted to also make sure that I was being responsible in what I was creating. I wanted to have that knowledge behind me, and then also know from a professional salon standpoint what is needed for my community. So I know what's needed as far as DIY, as far as the home consumer, but knowing what is necessary for the salon, how I can help my now colleagues was really important to me. And then also just learning more about products, because again, you don't know what you don't know until you know it. So again, that was kind of, I hit my plateau as far as a DIYer. And I felt like I needed to, the next step was to move into this space for respectability, but also for my own personal knowledge and what I was doing and what I was creating.
Oh, I love this leveling up. As you know, on your own terms, though, as you keep saying.
Yeah.
And I love that. I think that's so cool too. I mean, let's talk about the big thing, which is that you've got your own hair care brand, which is a huge one, Melanin Haircare.
Yeah.
How did this come to be? I mean, it sounds like this was maybe something that was percolating as you were building this community and going through this journey, but I'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
How did this happen?
Yeah, actually, it wasn't percolating. It was, they were trying to make it percolate, but I kept throwing water on it. I didn't want it. I was like, like I was a DIYer. Like my big thing was like, at the time, products were few and far in between for our hair. And the products that existed were so expensive. And I was just out of college. I couldn't afford them. And I was like, well, there's got to be another way. So I started out by diluting the products and like showing people how they can make their products stretch. And then I was like, I learned more about natural ingredients. And I was like, oh, some of these ingredients aren't very safe. So let's make our own. And so I kind of grew in that DIY space. And so as I was sharing these amazing like recipes, people were trying them and they're like, oh, you should sell them to us. You should sell them. And I was like, no, because like my whole shtick was I wanted to empower natural hair people to do it themselves. I wanted them to know that they were in control of their own destiny as far as their hair was. And I felt like if I sold them a product, that would be going against my original message. And so I felt a lot of guilt in doing that. And so I fought it for a very long time. And my excuse was always, well, that's not what I'm trying to do. But then as I kept posting more and more and people were saying, okay, well, I tried it and it didn't work, or I'm not mixing it right, or like I just don't have time to do it, or I couldn't find the ingredients online. I was getting these constantly. And eventually I was like, okay, so they're telling me they need it. They're telling me it would be helpful to them. So if it can be helpful to them, I can justify making it. And I was like, but I'm only going to make it if it truly represents my DIY spirit. The products are safe and high quality, and it benefits my community as much as it benefited me. So like I mentioned before, I don't think I would be here in this headspace if it wasn't for my community. Like, we have a very symbiotic relationship. Like, they say, oh, you helped me so much. And I'm like, dude, you helped me so much. Are you serious? Like, we helped each other. And so it was really important to me that if I was going to make a product line, it had to help us both. Like, I didn't want to just be the only one like benefiting from it. So it took a really long time to figure out how to do that. It was a 6-year process, and it was completely self-funded. Did it on our own. I recruited my sister after a few years, and we just really were like doing it ground up, kind of getting our hard knocks and spending the money and investing and doing the business plan. Like, it was legit, not an incubation. Like, I'm a content creator, but it was none of those partnership type of things that they have these days. So I really created it because my community wanted me to create it. And I figured that if I was going to do it, I could make something that did not exist and that could be beneficial to the community. And I think that's what we did. We really, when we came to market in 2018, we really were like one of the first natural hair companies in the niche to give a truly like beautiful packaging that's minimalist and high quality, as well as the contents inside, super high quality, non-toxic and safe. And so I think that we really helped to show the niche like what was possible. And I think that's evident in like all the brands that have come out since have been so I think they've just been as beautiful as they are beneficial. And I think that's really important. I think that's what the community deserves.
Absolutely. This is just so fascinating. I mean, you really were at the forefront of this. And I mean, harkening back to what we talked about at the top, when you landed this bomb of you having been a graphic designer, it makes perfect sense. The packaging alone is so aesthetically, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
It's so nice. The entire assortment.
It makes sense.
Yeah, no, it makes total sense. But then to know the care and thought that went into what's inside of that packaging is even more, I think, powerful.
Yeah.
And you're right. I mean, the brands that have come since, it's really because of, folks like yourself that have made this a reality. So talk to us a little bit about the natural inclination with a lot of these products is to not go this route. And certainly prior to you guys coming to market, where it's like there's these chemicals that and so how did you go about being firm in identifying?
It was hard. Well, that's why it took 6 years. It took 6 years. It took a long time to figure it out. And so it was really great for me that I had a plethora of my recipes that I used online. So our first products that we came out with were all based on my DIY recipes. And so I had a plethora of ingredients that I knew I wanted to use and formulations that worked for a DIYer, like at home.
Yep.
And so we would go out and we would look, we would find manufacturers and speak with the chemist and be like, hey, I have this recipe and I would like for you to please make it shelf stable. And then also tell me how, what can I add to it to enhance, right? And so it was kind of like starting with the base of what I already had, which is really great. And then also just knowing from having been in the community for so long, the things that I absolutely did not want in there. Like, I do not want parabens. I don't want silicones. I do not want formaldehyde. There's a whole list, which really was one of the reasons why it took 6 years, because at the time that we were doing this, it was probably around 2012-ish. Chemists were not really used to the very long, extensive forbidden chemicals list. And we got a lot of pushback. And so we had to spend a lot of time sampling. And then when that didn't work out after a year, go to a new manufacturing, start all over. And so it was like a huge process all the time, just trying to get the formulations right. And eventually, I think just the industry caught up, and it was like, we found a chemist that got it and knows how to work with natural ingredients, or could find a workaround for ingredients that we did not want. And so it was kind of like, it was a long process. And, we did at times, you felt like you wanted to give up. It was like, why even bother? I am exhausted.
Yep.
This is not working. How much money have I spent? And, but I'm happy that we stayed in there and we stuck with it, because today it's a lot easier. I think that It's just we have the technology and we have the knowledge of what ingredients people are looking for and want to use. And so, yeah, it was a process for sure.
I can literally only imagine. Really do appreciate, though, that insight. I mean, it's just, it's a shame that it was as difficult as it was.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's because of brands like yours that are making this all easier for everybody. So I know we've talked a lot about the community in terms of like what they're interested in, and that sort of symbiotic relationship. But tell me from your end, like, what are some of the ingredients that like you have just been like, these are like, we've got to have these. This is why, like, that you ride or die for.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. Where do I even start? Okay. So the thing with Melanin Haircare too is that like if you looked at the ingredient list for one product, you'd be like, wow, how in the heck do they get all that in there? But if you looked at the ingredient list for all of the products combined, it's like, dude, what do we not have in there? I have this thing where it's like, so, okay, let me start from the beginning. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. In the beginning, I feel like curly hair products were mostly concerned with making the hair curl by any means necessary. Like freeze the curl in place, like keep it there. That's what we want to see, right?
Yep, you are so right.
But with us, with Melanin Haircare, we're really concerned with the health of the hair and scalp first, and then styling is secondary. And so with that being said, it was really important to me that no matter what product somebody chose to use, they were getting what they needed to benefit their hair and scalp. So I wanted their hair to be moisturized, to have some strengthening properties in there, to be supported. I wanted it to be hydrated and nourished, minerals and vitamins. And so the ingredients list have kind of a little bit of everything in there that you could need so that, you know, no matter what you're using, if you're using the full Melanin Haircare line or if you're cocktailing it with other products, you're going to get beneficial ingredients in some part of your wash day. And so some of my favorite ingredients that I just absolutely love that we use are, hydrolyzed wheat proteins are some of my favorite. We also use hydrolyzed soy and hydrolyzed pea proteins. One of my favorite is bamboo, which has the highest silica content than any natural ingredient on the market. It helps with elasticity. It helps to keep your hair strengthened and flexible. It's super great for your hair and your scalp. What else? Our new Pumping Deep Conditioner has two of my favorite ingredients, and this is our newest product. And I brought it all the way back to the beginning because it incorporates a couple of ingredients that I used in my DIY on my YouTube channel. And that would be pumpkin and fenugreek, which are just chef's kiss. The pumpkin, I did a DIY of sweet potato on my channel and like people laughed. They thought it was hilarious. But sweet potato is so amazing for your hair. It's super moisturizing and it's great for hair growth and strengthening. And so I couldn't get the sweet potato in there for this iteration. So the next best thing is pumpkin, and they both have very similar qualities. And so I put the pumpkin in there, which is also just so amazing for your hair growth and strength, and also super moisturizing. And then the fenugreek is just, that was a DIY that I used for like detangling. It also helps to grow your hair. It's got so much slip in it. It's a very slippery ingredient, but it also helps to strengthen the hair. And it helps it to be a little bit like shiny and smooth as well. And so there's like a ton of ingredients like that in there. There's also like turnip root and baobab and hops, hemp seed. You're going to get the argans, the jojoba oil, the sweet almond, all of that. And then you're also going to get your white tea and your sage and your geranium. So there's a little bit of strengthening. There's a little bit of moisture. There's a little bit of soothing, the tea trees. And so again, there's literally everything but the kitchen sink in our product line. And I can't really pick a couple of ingredients that are my favorite, but the ones that always come to mind right off the top are bamboo, because it's so good, and pumpkin and fenugreek. I'm really proud that we were able to get those in there. Oh, and also our Pumping Deep Conditioner also has hyaluronic acid. So patting myself on the back for that. We got a little skincare in there.
Yeah.
Very excited. And so we're playing with the hydrating properties, the moisture locking properties of hyaluronic acid too. So I'm just having a lot of fun making these really cool products that don't exist.
That don't exist and work. Which is the even more exciting aspect of all of this. So talk to us a little bit about like, what are the heroes? Like, what are the best sellers that people are just like, I mean, I see that the new Plumping Deep Conditioner sold out already, which congrats.
Thank you.
But like, what else is it that people are like, I've got to have it?
So probably our best seller is, well, Plumping Deep Conditioner now, but our kind of our oldest bestseller would be our multi-use softening leave-in conditioner. And it's such a unique leave-in conditioner, especially for textured hair. It works in 7 different ways. So you can use it as like a normal rinse out conditioner. Have you ever used a conditioner and you're like, God, I love this so much. I wish I could just keep it in my hair.
Yes.
Well, that's what we did. That's what we created. We created a conditioner that you would love, but you could also keep it in your hair. So it's a rinse out conditioner. You can also use it as a leave-in conditioner. If you need a little bit more support, maybe you went to the beach, your hair is really like dried out or whatever, you can put on a plastic cap and help to open up your hair cuticles to get even more of that moisture in there. It's also got the hydrolyzed wheat proteins and the amino acids to help rebuild and strengthen the hair. But what everybody will probably notice right off the bat is that when you apply it, your hair instantly like drinks it up. Like your hair just comes back alive. It helps to detangle the knots. They just melt right out. And then also as you're combing it through, again, it just feels super sleek and silky. And then once you, like, it feels really great in your hair, and then you rinse it out and your hair still feels great. And that was so important to me because as a natural hair content creator, I've tried a ton of products out there, and I just really hated when I would use a conditioner on my hair and I would love it, love it, love it. And then I rinse it out of my hair and I'm like, what the heck just happened? Did I just use shampoo or like, did I condition my hair at all? Where did all that hydration and moisture go? So I love like letting people know that like when you use it, it feels amazing. And then if you decide to rinse it off or leave it in, but if you decide to rinse it off, your hair still feels amazing. And I love that you have that option too, because some hair types can't handle a lot of moisture, right? Or a lot of heaviness, you know, like if you have a finer texture and you can't use like too many styling products that'll weigh down your curls, your hair, you have that option to get rid of it. But then for the more coarse textures who need a little bit more support, more moisture, more weight on their hair, they can add as little or as much as is needed. So it's really great across all hair types. And I think that's why it's probably been one of our hero products and bestsellers. Like so many different people can use it and benefit from it. And it really works. And your hair over time and kind of instantly looks amazingly beautiful, silky, shiny, and it's strengthened over time.
Oh, Whitney, before we move on to any other questions, where can people buy this stuff? Like where can we find it?
Yeah.
Can we do some plugs of some websites?
Yeah, absolutely. So of course, you can find it at melaninhaircare.com, but we also have to give a huge shout out to our amazing retailers. You can find it in all Ulta Beauty stores. You can also find it at ultabeauty.com and Sephora.com. And you can also find it overseas, if you're listening to this overseas, at Space & K. And we just launched at Selfridges.com and Selfridges in store as well.
Congratulations. Makes it so easy to get these things.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Oh, and Ulta Beauty at Target. Sorry.
Boom. Look at that. Can't leave out the Targets. We love that.
Right.
All right. So, I mean, talk to us a little bit about the challenges. I mean, this is not that you've painted a rosy picture. I mean, you've talked a lot about the time and investment.
The fun stuff.
Exactly. But let's talk a little bit about the things that people maybe don't love talking about in terms of bringing a brand to life.
Yeah.
What are some obstacles that you feel like you've had to overcome? I mean, we've talked about a few of them, but I'd love to hear you take those on.
Okay, so there are a couple of obstacles right when we first started. And the biggest one was just finding a manufacturer and a chemist that like really understood what we were trying to do and that would stick with us. Because, you know, who are we, right? Like they don't know us from John down the street, and we're being very complicated in what we're asking for. And so, you know, not many people wanted to stick with that. And so that was one of our biggest challenges, was getting somebody to stay with us and believe in us and prove ourselves. And like, we're not crazy. This can be done. We're sure of it. You can do it, you know? Then on top of that, just, I think I am so amazingly blessed to have such a huge community supporting me, but that also comes with the challenge of having to make sure that you have enough product to support that community. And so when we're first getting started, again, we're self-funded. This is not an incubation. Like, we are coming up with the funding on our own, taking out of our pockets, and, having to getting product for, 50,000 people is quite costly.
Yeah.
And so that was a huge undertaking. And, that remains to be an undertaking as well. I think that's probably a lot of the reason why, I won't say probably, I'm trying to soften the blow a little bit.
Yeah.
But that is the reason why. I'm supposed to keep it real, right?
Yep.
That's the reason why it's hard to stay in stock, because, I am so blessed. I'm so thankful for it. But the amount of stock we have to supply is so large. And so trying to strike that balance between staying in stock and also supporting your business and the people that work with you and that are working for you, it's always a juggling act, right? And so I think that's like the biggest part, or the biggest pain point of being an entrepreneur, no matter what industry you're in. It's always funding. Every entrepreneur will say that: funding, funding, funding. And it's just a constant battle of making sure that everybody has what they need, but then you're also able to innovate and you're also able to keep things on shelf. And so it's been a huge, crazy learning experience in that aspect. And I think I've just, as a personal and a professional person, I have grown so much just from having those challenges. And I would not take them back, because I feel like as I move forward in this industry, it kind of gives me, again, like I said earlier, I am always constantly feeling like I have to prove myself for my peers, and because of where I came from, like how I started. Some people might not agree with that. But I feel like having gone through the challenges and having learned all of these lessons firsthand and organically, and through my own work, like not partnering with a larger corporation that's helping me.
Yep.
I feel like that helps to give me, a little sense of like belonging. Like, yes, I have paid my dues. I am one of you.
Yeah.
I have gone through it too. So let's talk about this together. Oh. And so I do it like, there's always positives and negatives about everything. And I look at that as a positive.
All right. So this is a sort of unique situation. You have co-founded the brand with your sister, which means you are working with her day in, day out. And it's been a number of years. You're both very much alive. So talk to us a little bit about what that is like. Where does Whitney begin and end? When does Taffeta come in? I'd love to hear about the split.
Yeah. So when I recruited my sister Taffeta, we weren't really sure how we were going to work together. We knew we were going to be co-founders, but we ended up splitting it into she is COO and I am CEO, and she covers a lot of the operational tasks while I'll cover a lot of the marketing and creative tasks. But then we also kind of dibble and dabble, if that's a word, into like each other's roles here and there.
We'll allow it.
Dibble and dabble. And so we kind of like, we kind of bounce ideas off each other in different roles, and we're both involved in both aspects. But yeah, it's been amazing. And then the brand is family owned, Black owned, female owned.
Congratulations. And truly, like, no small feat. Like, working with family can either be like the best thing ever or the worst thing. And it sounds like you guys have figured it out.
Yeah.
So shout out. We love that.
Thank you.
Well, talk to us a little bit about the team. I mean, obviously, the brand is largely run by you and your sister. How small? How big?
We currently have, oh my gosh, how many employees now? I believe 9 altogether, and we continue to grow.
Congrats.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's been crazy. Year 2021 is kind of when we blew up with employees. Like we got a ton on, and it's really funny because we've all been working remotely right now. And so like, we're actually going to be going on a hybrid schedule in 2 weeks, which is why I'm always like, how many do we have now? Because like, we just keep adding on people, but it's still like a small operation. I feel like for as much as we all do, we all take on so much and we all juggle a lot of hats. But it's such a fun atmosphere. It's all female, which is really funny. Like, we all just kind of vibe off each other, and we work hard, but we also play hard. And it's a great supportive atmosphere.
Love that. Talk to us, if you wouldn't mind, a little bit about marketing of the company. I mean, so much of this was, as you've said, related to the community and wanting to do right by them, getting them product, which comes with its challenges. how have you been going about it now that you've sort of gone into this mode where before it was sort of like for fun? Not that it wasn't also, I mean, it can still be fun now, but it's different. So I'm just curious, what does that strategy look like? How do you go about your content creation? Because you've continued that. We want to know more.
Yeah, it is definitely different. That's for sure. I'm still trying to figure that out, to be 100% honest. I think if it wasn't for, the pandemic happening in 2020, that kind of threw a wrench into some things where I had to kind of really slow down on the content creation part, probably more so than I would have had to if that did not happen, because it was just all hands in regarding the supply chain issues. Like all hands were in, okay,
yeah,
in, and so I'm still trying to figure out what that balance of content creation and being a CEO of a company looks like.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I have all the answers to that, because I don't. And I'm also a single mom, so it's like it's juggling all of the hats has been difficult, but what I have been doing is when I'm feeling good, I make a lot of content and I save it and I post it when I can.
Yep.
And when I need to be all hands in for the business, I'm all hands in for the business. When I have a break, maybe on a weekend, and I feel real good, I'll make some content. Or when it's time to go home and be on mom mode, I'm on mom mode. I used to try to, balance everything and be like, oh, I'm Superwoman. I can do a little bit of everything. But I had to realize that like, some things are sometimes going to be more important than other things. So sometimes the business is going to win. Sometimes, being a mom is going to, the mom always wins. But, there are times when I'm going to have to say no to the business in order to focus on what I need to do at home.
Yeah.
And then, the content creation kind of fits in where it fits in. So, it's something I'm still trying to figure out. And I'm just very thankful that people still, the community is so strong. I feel like the Natural 85 brand is a legacy brand, and I'm thankful that people are there. And like, if I need to pop out, they get it. They've been following my life journey. They've been following like my personal journey, and they know that I'm a mom. And so I think when it comes to that, I kind of get a little bit more leeway than maybe somebody else might. But I'm still trying to figure it out, is basically what I'm saying in a nutshell. So I don't have all the answers, Sway. I just, I'm a tumbleweed in the wind. And then also it's crazy because so many different platforms are coming out these days. And I'm just like, what in the world?
Yeah.
So, it's a juggling act.
Well, I appreciate the realness. I mean, this is a struggle for all of us.
Yes.
But especially those, with obligations, kids, with building a bit, all of these things. So really do appreciate you offering a little bit of insight, and love to hear that the community is still showing up for you, which I think has got to make it a little bit easier.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Just before we go into our quick takes, because we've taken up so much of your time, I want to know, like, any advice? I mean, you've sort of threaded through a lot of advice in that last bit just then, in terms of not trying to look for balance necessarily. But is there anything that you would sort of offer up to other women, maybe other Black women or women of color who are thinking about founding a company, getting stuff off the ground?
Yeah, I would say only do it if you love it. You have to really, and I say this about everything. When I was asked, do you have any advice about starting a YouTube channel? It was the same thing. Like, it is hard to create content. It is hard to build a business. And if you do not love it, it is going to be much harder. So find what you love and build around that. If it's something that you maybe think, oh, this is a good, there's something missing and I could, that's great. But if you don't love it, it's going to be a hard uphill battle. So find something that you love, because in those moments when things don't go wrong, and that will be every other week, or when things don't go right, I should say, that will be every other week. You will at least know that you're enjoying, like, you have your why of why you chose to do it. And then I would also say, make sure that who you are going into business with is somebody that you can be honest with. So I'm really lucky that I'm going into business with my sister, Taffeta. We just grew up where we were always honest with each other. Our mom really taught us about like contracts, and like we're able to switch off family and business partner when we need to. And we're also able to kind of go toe and toe if we have a disagreement about what's necessary, but then also like we know it's business, so just make sure that who you choose to go into business with, if you do, is somebody that you can be 100% honest with, because there are going to be moments that are tough that you have to be honest.
Yeah.
You have to be honest. And so you have to make sure that you can do that with the person. And then make sure that you have adequate funding. Okay. Make sure that you know where your next check is coming from, or what's going to pay for what, or if you have a little something to fall back on, because things happen. Pandemics happen. We were not, none of us were ready for that. Okay.
Yeah.
And it's always good to have a backup plan, a plan B for if something happens. Here's what we will do. Right. Always be prepared for any craziness that might go down. So I think those are probably my three biggest points of
all of those gems, all of those great. The last question before we get into the quick takes, which can sometimes be the dreaded one. So sorry in advance, but people want to know.
Oh boy.
What's next? What is next for Melanin Haircare?
Yeah. So again, we're still in post-pandemic craziness, which is really crazy, right? So we're just getting out of that, which is amazing. So we're going to have some new innovation starting next year, which we're really excited about. But we are, like I said, we just launched in Selfridges overseas. We're really working on our overseas kind of retailers, partners, and helping our overseas customers get that same high quality experience that our US customers are getting. So that's really exciting. And then also we are also traveling to some trade shows around the world, which is so exciting. I love seeing all of the consumers there. Like, these are the natural hair customers. So I'm really excited to meet everybody and see everybody who I've spoken to online. And so that's really exciting. So we're just working on that. And then we're also, again, building out our company. We've hired a few more employees, and we are moving into our office space, which has been like 3 years in the making, which is so exciting. And it's beautiful. It's all in melanin pink. It's so cute.
Oof, of course it is. Of course it is.
Yeah, of course. The graphic designer, we have to make it. It's a hybrid situation. So we want to make sure that our employees want to come to work. We have to make it a beautiful space. So
yeah, I would want to come. Just spoiler that.
Right?
Yeah, no reason to stay home.
Just to see it. Exactly. So yeah, those are some of our biggest things, and then really looking forward to getting some new innovation on for next year.
Oh, well, we cannot wait. We know big things are in store. Let's do our quick takes, and then we'll free you to go and run this incredible business. These are the questions we ask of all of our guests, so try not to think about them for too long. The first question that we've got is, what was the first product, beauty or hair, that you remember owning? Maybe like something you had to have.
Oh my God. Are you serious? Okay. This is hard. Oh my goodness. Oh,
sorry.
Oh dear. Okay. Oh, why do I feel like there's a buzzer behind me? What? There's no.
It's all in your head. There's no buzzer coming for you.
Right. Okay. I would say, this is so weird. I'm going between two products right now. I think I will choose the hair mayonnaise. It was a product, I think it still exists actually. It was a product that my mom gave me, and it was like literally the thickest conditioner ever. And I used to love using it on my hair. I will go with that one. Okay.
That sounds perfect. You've really painted a picture of that product. Yeah. Love that.
It didn't stink though, so that's good.
That's good. Are you superstitious at all? And if so, about what?
No, yeah, I am. I really am.
Oh, you are? Okay. What do we got?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I don't like when people put things into the universe that should not be in the universe. We need to knock 3 times, and it has to be exactly 3 times. If you slip and knock like 4, then you got to knock 2 more times, and then you have to do it again.
Okay.
So you have to knock the 2 more times to knock out the 3, and then you start over knocking 3 times again. Yeah, I know. It doesn't make sense.
That makes perfect sense.
Does it? Okay, good. You got it, right?
No, you painted the picture. We're with you.
Thank you.
Who would play you in a biopic of your life?
Oh Lord. Okay. I would say, oh Lord, Sanaa Lathan probably.
Oh my God. Perfect casting. Sanaa, Queen Sanaa. I love that. Okay, yes, I can see it.
You see it? Okay,
Let's make that happen. Also, incredible hair. Okay.
Right?
Yes, truly. What do you consider to be the ultimate comfort food?
Well, sad, but coffee.
That is not sad. That's very relatable. As I slurp my coffee drink. Yeah, I feel that.
Keeping it real. That is so sad. Like, come on. If you don't have your coffee in the morning, don't you feel sad? Like, and then you drink your coffee and it's like a warm hug. Come on.
Yeah. Oh, that's perfect. I think that's the first time we've had coffee on here, but if we're being real, that should probably be up there for comfort.
How many of y'all are really going to go a day without your coffee? Let's be real.
Yeah. Amazing. Okay. Our last question. Say that you're on a deserted island and you can only bring 3 beauty products. What are you bringing?
Oh my God. I am bringing. Oh my God. What am I bringing? I am bringing. I'm bringing apple cider vinegar because I can mix it with water and I can make a body wash and a scalp wash with that. Mm-hmm. And I feel bad for the fish though. Sorry. And then I'm bringing my multi-use softening leave-in conditioner from Melanin Haircare because it's moisturizing. I mean, come on, please. I got to look good on this island. No one else is there, but you don't know who's going to show up and save me.
But for yourself.
Oh, right. Yeah. For myself.
Exactly.
That's what I meant.
Or for the person that's coming. No, either way, it all works.
I like your answer better. Oh my God, that's horrible. And then I think the last beauty product that I will probably choose is, oh my God, my pillow.
Okay.
I'm saying, like, if you don't get good sleep, are you really going to be looking beautiful?
This is important questions that you're putting out there. I mean, you're 1,000% correct. We got to be well rested on this deserted island. I love that.
Yeah.
Whitney, thank you so much for your time. An absolute pleasure chatting with you. Before you go, and all of these links will be included in the show notes. So we're making it nice and easy for our listeners. But if you could, where can people find more about you? Where can they find Melanin Haircare? Please drop some links for us.
Awesome. Well, you can find more about me on my social channels, Natural85 everywhere, mostly youtube.com/natural85. And you can learn more about Melanin Haircare at melaninhaircare.com and at Melanin Haircare on all of our socials.
Amazing. Big slay. Thank you so much for your time. Come back anytime. Honestly, we'd love to have you. Maybe next year when there's some product that's out that you want to talk about.
Yes, absolutely. That would be amazing. Thank you. I would love to come back.